Okay, hi, I'm Marty with Quietwoods RV. I'm here to show you your trailer. If you have any things that I need to answer for you, just go ahead and ask whenever you get a chance. We'll start in the front here. We'll work our way all the way around. And like I say, if you have any questions later on, just go ahead and ask. Up front here is your power tongue jack. Has a light on the front as well as moving it up and down with the button here. This is all 12 volt operated through the battery up front here, which will be located up here. Once your trailer is also plugged in, the 12 volt converter will also power all the system up. You have your safety chains and then your breakaway cable for when you're traveling down the road. If this cable or your trailer and truck come unhooked, pull this cable out and it'll lock the brakes up on your trailer. You do have two 20-pound propane cylinders. Being that it's a new unit, they will both be filled. You do have a regulator sitting in the center here, and if you can see the sight gauge here, right now it's red. If you were to turn on the propane tank, the sight gauge will now turn green. You can see it right in here. It has a little arrow on your sight gauge pointing at one of the tanks. So if you're pointing at this tank here, it means it's going to take the gas out of this tank first. All you got to do is look at the sight gauge every week, and if it turned red, it means that the tank that it's pointing to went empty. It'll automatically start taking the propane out of the next tank, providing that this tank is open. You're going to want to go ahead and turn this valve over to this tank. It'll turn green again. Now you can take this tank off safely and go have it filled. Never interrupt your service that way. If you were to leave it dead center, pointing in straight down, it's going to take the propane out of both cylinders at the same time. And when you run out of propane, you're going to be out of propane in both cylinders. So you want to have it one or the other. Your battery, basically here, will be self-contained. Once your trailer is plugged in, it'll maintain your battery for you. If you're not going to use it in the wintertime or you're going to put it in storage, we suggest that you unhook the positive side or take your battery out completely and keep it in warm storage. Because once the battery is low and once it freezes, then your battery's dead. Coming around the side here, we have your data plate. Your data plate basically tells you the size of your tires and the air pressure that's located inside your tires. If you were to look at the valve stems on your tires right now, they are green valve stems. That means that the factory, they fill them up with nitrogen. Nitrogen is not supposed to change the pressure with the temperature and everything like regular oxygen would. We don't have that nitrogen here, so we do is we check them here at our facilities and we top them off. So they're all good to go. All your lug nuts have been torqued to specifications, and they suggest checking those every 100 miles. Also tells you the date that your trailer was manufactured and the loading weight and loading capacities on that. Your first compartment here is a storage compartment, and this storage compartment does go all the way through here. There is a light on the other side, and basically you put anything inside here. A lot of people put their hitches and hoses and stuff like that inside here. This is a 751 key that operates that, and basically a 751 key will operate basically all locks on most of the RVs in this unit here, on the lot that we have here. It's a standard key they use in the whole industry. Down below here you have one of your stabilizing jacks, and they are located on all four corners. There's a 3/4 inch socket that goes on there, and there's also a wrench inside that can raise and lower those. Those are not to help to change the tire or anything else, although you could use that. It's basically for stabilizing your camper. Basically, once you back your trailer in, you get your trailer level. You want to drive it up on one side or the other to get it level off that way, and then lower your legs down that way. Do not forget to raise those back up. The next thing you have here is your fresh water tank. Your fresh water tank basically is water you're going to take with you if you're going to like a state park where you don't have water on site, or if you're going to go to a concert and stuff like that. That tank is generally 35, 40 gallon tank. There is a monitor system inside, and I'll show you that once we get to the inside. It'll tell you how much you're using that way. The freshwater tank drain is located right underneath here, and it's just a little valve you turn off and turn it up and down. This window here is what they call a safety and exit window. If for some reason, let's say there was a tree that fell on your camper and it was blocking the door, you couldn't get out, you could actually push this window out and crawl out and get out to safety this way. The roof on this unit, as well as on the slide out, is what they call a rubber roof. It's a one-piece rubber that goes from front to back. There's no seams on it whatsoever. So You don't have to crawl up there and check on any seams whatsoever. If you wanted to, you could get on this roof and walk anywhere you wanted to on that roof and you're good to go. They do suggest you get up there periodically and check to make sure none of the seams are letting go and stuff like that. And we do sell caulk that goes with that. When you do back into your campsite, we tell everybody when you back in, you want to make sure that there's not a tree or something that's right in the way here, a power stand or something like that. You want to give yourself 4 feet of room before you slide out to come out. Then you'll know you have plenty of room that way. Okay. On the back side here is where your back side of the refrigerator is. Really nothing you have to do in here. This is just for servicing purposes. If you were having issues with your refrigerator, this is where the service technician would get into it to work on it. This is for ventilation up here. So you do not want to block these up. There are, get the hot air out of here, so that's where it's going to come out. So just leave that wide open. You're good to go. Okay. Then on the back side here is where your holding tank systems are located. You have the wastewater and you have the sewer water. The wastewater is basically all the gray water tanks. It comes from your bathroom sink, your shower, and your kitchen sink. The sewer water is just from the toilet. Again, the wastewater and the black water are generally 35, 40 gallon tanks. And that also has a monitor system. Then I'll show you that once we get to the inside. And another stabilizing jack. Your power cord here is a 30 amp power cord. 30 amp power cord is generally what comes in most campers nowadays. There are some out there with 50s and there are some of the old ones yet still have the 110. We do sell adapters, but most campgrounds have the 30 amp already. This one actually has a 30-foot long extension on it, and it unscrews and plugs right in the camper. Make sure you take that with you. When you come to the back side here, you have your outside shower, so do not forget to winterize this as well. And then below that, you have your cable and satellite hookup. If you go to a campground that has cable on it, and I know there's a few up in Door County that have that, you back in, all you got to do is hook your cord here instead of running a cable through your window. You're good to go there. Your city water hookup right here, if you do have a site that has water on it, is where you hook your garden hose to. And then your black water tank flush. Basically, you hook a hose on here when you get to your dump station. When you're dumping your black water side, turn this on and it'll automatically flush that black water tank out for you. Spare tire, and this tire pressure has also been set. Down here is where they call low point drains. Low point drains are basically another service part of the trailer. It's for us out in the industry. If you had a water leak in there and we had to change the faucet, instead of us taking the line apart and getting water all over, we'd open these low point drains, drain the water out of the lines, then we can take it out while getting water all over. So that's what them low points are for. It helps for winterizing. You do have a ladder on this system. They help you get up on the roof. And then you also have this camera. This trailer is set for a backup camera on it. They're starting to become helpful. Helps people to back up into their campsites. And then basically what you do is you pop 2 screws off there. The camera will actually plug in, and then it's mounted right there. And the little monitor will sit right on your dash. You plug it into your cigarette lighter. This is all pre-wired, everything here. Once you turn your running lights on, that camera will automatically come on and you're good to go. There's no wires that have to be run whatsoever. Your awning, again, when you back into your site, you say there's a tree or something here, know that your awning canvas is 8 feet long. Once you start rolling your awning out, it's going to come out 8 feet from the side of your trailer out, so you know that you have to have that much room. You don't have to run it out to 8 feet, but to enjoy it, that's how you're going to want to have it. You do have a assist handle. That's to help you go up and down. And then you have your steps. And these steps have adjustments right on the side here to your different terrain. This actually goes all the way up and locks in for travel. Your screen door. And your screen door, you don't have to have this open. You can leave this closed. That way the mosquitoes can't get in on you. And then you have your locks on here. You have the 2 locks on here. One is a standard in the industry, and we have master keys that allow us to get inside this to do our service work. You are the only one that's going to have the deadbolt key for this. So if you deadbolt it, there's nobody else can get inside your trailer except for you. When you get your trailer, you'll come with 2 sets of keys for the trailer itself. If you do happen to need more, this is the key code right here, and you can get those from Quietwoods too. Outside speakers, that runs off the system inside, and I'll show you that once we get in there. This is the vent for over the stove, where that vents outside furnace. This does get very hot, so be careful not to lay any lawn chairs or anything against this. That'll get very, very hot for you. You have an outside receptacle, which is GFI protected, and I'll show you where the reset is for that. That's also on the inside. This is your water heater here. This is a 6-gallon water heater, gas electric, meaning that you can run this water heater on gas or electric or both at the same time. Before you go ahead and turn it on, you want to do is pull on your pressure relief valve and make sure that water starts to run out of here. If you see water trickling out of there, you know your water heater is full. Then if you want, on the gas side, there's a button on the inside, and I'll show you that once we get in there. Flip that button on, and this will automatically light, provided you have the propane turned on. If you want to run this on electric, there's a button right down in the corner here, and that says on and off. Once you turn that button on, it's automatically going to run on the electric side. But you want to make sure that you have it full of water before you turn that on. After you get it hot, you're good to go. It'll automatically shut itself off. There's a thermostat located underneath this plate here, and that thermostat is set at 130 degrees. They do make hotter ones, but 130 is plenty hot there. The drain plug is down here in the bottom. That drain plug is also what they call an anode rod. An anode rod is supposed to take all the hardness and impurities of the water, attract it to that rather than to the life of your tank, or to the tank. It's supposed to save the life of your tank there. Okay, another storage. There is a light on the back side here, and then a couple dog dishes they throw on this trailer here, and another stabilizing jack. This does come with a solar package on it. Basically, if you wanted to buy a solar panels, you can plug them right on here, and the solar panels will actually charge up the batteries out front too as well. Okay, we're ready to go to the inside. Okay, now when you come in, you can see up here is where all the light switches are on the ceiling up here for the outside and for the awning. You also have the button up here for your slide out room. Basically, right now the room is out, but if it wasn't out, you'd want to make sure that everything was picked up and out of the way, that one of these cushions wasn't laid on the floor, or a shoe, or a sock, or something that can get caught behind the wall. It's not that these run really fast, it's just that when the lights are all out and everything else and it's dark in here, you won't be able to see a shoe or something like that. So if you hear something starting to crunch, it's best just to stop, look to make sure everything's good to go. Once the room is all the way out, the first thing you want to do is walk up and put your hands against the wall and the rubber slide to make sure that you can feel that it's making contact all the way around. If it's looser on one side than the other, you want to look down there to make sure that there ain't something stuck in there. But once you're good to go there, then you can move on to the rest of the system here. The next button that you have up here is also for your awning. Again, it says extend and retract. Start pushing the button, and as you see it, you can see the awning start to roll itself out. And that will roll itself at 8 feet. Okay. Then you have a radio up top here. How to turn that on and off. There's remote controls that run that to TV as well. Down here is your distribution panel for the power. Basically, where everything comes into first. All the power comes into this box first, and everything on this side over here is all the 110 side. And it's labeled right through here as to what it takes care of. Everything from this side over is all the 12 volt side, and that's labeled as to what it takes care of here. In the center here, you have two 40 amp fuses, basically one for the converter side and one for the battery side of it. They developed a system nowadays that if a fuse should happen to burn out, instead of you pulling every fuse out, checking it, a little light will glow and say, okay, on the fuse that's bad, pull that out, boop, change it, and you're good to go. This does have a little fan in it, so if you hear something running, it's not your furnace or anything wrong, it's just that. Up here is your thermostat for your furnace as well as your air conditioner here. You go ahead and push your finger on the button there, and you can see it turns blue. You hold it again, and you'll see it go to a little fan blade. That fan blade is just the fan up inside your air conditioner. You can see it says auto. You push this button over here, it says high. Push this button, it says low. You always want to end up in the auto position on here. If you were to leave this in a high or a low position, what's going to happen is the fan, go ahead and push this button over here, you shut it off, and now that fan's going to shut itself off. Let's say next time you go camping, you don't need the air conditioner on, it's a little cool out, you want to turn the furnace on. You come down here, push this on, you get the little wavy bars which represents heat. You set your thermostat, you can see that the air conditioner come on as well as the furnace. So why is my air conditioner running? It's because that auto mode is now set to a high or low. Run back around, see it set at the low, bump that back out to auto, and then go back to your furnace. And then just this will shut off and your furnace will keep running. Once your thermostat reaches this temperature, it'll automatically shut itself off. To regulate your temperature, you go ahead and push this button on this side, and you go ahead and adjust your temperature setting. To run your air conditioner, come back around, and you'll see it has that little symbol of a snowflake down in the corner. That snowflake represents the air conditioner up in here. And again, you can go ahead and set your temperature on here as to what you want that to run at. Being that it's on the auto mode right now, what's going to happen is your air conditioner is going to come on and it's going to run at the best possible speed that it can. It's going to come on and run on the high. Once it comes down and starts running the temperature, it's going to start slowing itself down, and once it gets the temperature, it'll automatically shut itself off. Middle of the night, all of a sudden it gets warm in here. Boop, that air conditioner is going to come on and start blowing that air really fast. So that's when you can come back around here and turn your thermostat before you go to bed, turn it to low. So in the middle of the night, when your air conditioner does come on, it comes on nice and slow. It's not going to chill you out like that. That's how you want to run that. There are books in there inside one of these drawers here to show you how to run all this stuff as well. On your air conditioner, it has what they call a diffuser panel up here. If you got here and it was really hot and you're getting that set up for camping, they want you to go ahead and open up this diffuser panel and dump all that cold air down right here, right now. If you were to close this, that air conditioner is sitting right on the roof here and it's trying to get rid of all that cold air and it can't get rid of it, it's going to start to freeze itself up. By opening this up, it dumps all that cold air. Once it gets cool in here where it's comfortable, slide these closed, and now the air is going to start coming out of these ceiling vents. You'll be a lot comfortable that way. This does have a filter up in here that you want to clean periodically, depending on where you go camping, stuff like that. Your furnace is located underneath here in this panel here. There are no filters on the furnace. There's nothing you have to worry about that. That's all self-maintained on that as well. Nothing there whatsoever. Microwave out here, standard microwave. Your fan for over the stove, and then your light. You have your stove here itself, the 3-burner stove. Basically, go ahead and turn this on, and your sparker on it. Turn it until it lights up. You have a button here to turn on the buttons for you, and then you also have an oven in here. Some people never use their oven. Some people use their oven all the time. What you want to do to light this up, turn it to pilot, push it on this, and at the same time light the pilot underneath here. Once the pilot lights, hold this an additional 20 seconds, let out. If it stays lit, then you go ahead and set your temperature setting. If you use the oven a lot, you can leave that pilot light and run the whole time. If you never use it, you never have to worry about lighting it. All your outlets inside this trailer, as well as one on outside, are what they call GFI protected. Ground fault, basically if you're close to a wet location, instead of you get electrocuted, this is where the reset is going to be on this one here. And they want you to check this periodically, just like the ones you got at home in your bathroom. Push on it, make sure it trips. And if you don't have power in the outlets out there, this is where you got to come and recheck that. Your refrigerator on the back side here. This is a gas electric refrigerator. Basically, you go ahead and turn this on, and it'll automatically go to its best possible source. If this trailer is plugged in, it's gonna go ahead and run on the electric side first. Let's say you get ready to go camping, you're at home, everything's all in here nice and cold. The minute you unplug this camper, this refrigerator will automatically switch over to gas. Make sure you have the gas on then. Traveling on the road, everything's gonna stay nice and cold here. You're back in your campsite and you plug your trailer in. This refrigerator will automatically switch over for you. Run back at electricity. Let's say you went camping for a couple of weeks up north. You had to go back to work, left your camper up there, you come back up next weekend. Big storm hit, power went out in the campground. As long as you left your battery on, or your gas on, and you had a battery in here, your refrigerator is going to keep on running for you. As soon as the power comes back in the campground, refrigerator is going to switch back over for you. You don't have nothing to worry about there. Bed up here. Basically, here's your escape window I was telling you about from the outside. You can utilize it as a regular window. There's a little cutout here. Hold it open. Or, if you need to use it as safety, pull the screen out, push out on that, and crawl out to safety that way. Bunch of storage underneath here as well. Power cord, stuff like that inside here. Your TV is mounted there. It has a power booster on it. If you desire, there is a hookup inside here that you want to hook a TV up. You can have that in here as well. Your bathroom, located back here. Basically, if you want to bring water and you step on the pedal lightly, and just water comes into the bowl. To flush it, step on the all-way floor, water comes in, everything falls down, you're good to go that way. The monitor system for this unit is located right here in the bathroom. This will tell you the condition of your battery, as well as your freshwater tank, your black water tank, and your gray tank. By pushing a button over here, will tell you your battery. Your battery condition is reading full. Okay, your freshwater tank, gray water tank 1, gray water tank 2, and your black water tank. Basically what it is sensors inside the tank here. And once they reach that sensor, you probably have another 10, 15 gallons to go in that tank, but it's just telling you it's getting close to that. There are also buttons on there. If you were to use this as the freshwater tank, this is where you're going to want to turn that pump on right in here. Turn that pump on. The pump will run until all the system is pressurized. Once everything's pressurized, boom, the pump will shut off. The minute you turn the faucet on, water will come out that way. This is also where you're going to turn that gas side of your water heater on. Flip that switch on here. 10, 15 seconds, your water heater is going to fire up and light up for you, and you're good to go. When you're getting ready to go home now, you also want to make sure that everything is picked up and put back in its proper space. All the doors and drawers are closed, and nothing's going to catch on this slide out when it comes in. You can see right now that the table is put up in the storage spot, but you put it down here on the floor, it's going to slide and cut in on the floor, so you always want to tuck everything away. Same thing on the outside. If it's raining outside and you're worried about water getting inside here, these slide outs have a rubber seal on them, so as they start to come in, it's going to sweep that roof off. But if you left it out all summer long, you want to get up there and sweep all the leaves and everything off it before you run it in that way. But as far as water running on it, no, it'll sweep it right off for you. And that's basically your unit.